Dance with me. I'm gonna start it off with a song. Hello, everyone. Oh, what a joy. Okay, it's playing somewhere else. Let me pause that. Greetings, everyone. What an honor. My gosh. Exciting to be here with you guys. Yes, I'm loving this song too. It's so beautiful. Well, I just love it because it says, I love you. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. It is such an honor to be here with you in this moment in time. Pivotal videos to come to right now in this live stream, and then also in the next one where we are going to be going into the blueprint of the matrix. You don't want to miss that. It is going to be life-changing. Completely. It's going to put many things into perspective for you. All right, beautiful. Did I darken my hair? No, I just have a little bit of trying to cover the sun because I guess I'm extra bright with the sun hitting me. But no, still the same color. It's natural. All right, beautiful. So, yes, we'll be taking questions today. So let me introduce myself though. I am AuroRa. I am the founder of A.U.R.A. Hypnosis Healing, as well as the author to Galactic Soul History of the Universe. I am also the founder to Rising Phoenix Mystery School, which you can find all our content under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com, and also under Patreon, Rising Phoenix Mystery School. I host retreats and workshops live, online, and also in person. Join us. Love to see you in Siesta Key, January 9th. And then also in November, we're going to have a live workshop where we teach A.U.R.A. hypnosis, what we're going to be talking about. Galactic Soul History of the Universe, book 1. So I host the different retreats, both in both of these avenues, online and in person. So love to see you there. Get more information under my website. And to support all that we do, go to Patreon for $4 a month, and you get a private live Q&A with a group and guided meditation with me. And then overall, just, we do a lot. So love your support there. And then go to Rumble, Spotify, and all that. Thank you. I offer Galactic Akashic readings, raw Reiki sessions, A.U.R.A. hypnosis, which is what we're going to be talking about in this moment in time in this video. So I offer all these sessions with me, a one-on-one, under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. Thank you. What a joy, what a joy, what a joy. All right. Okay, so yes, we will be talking about this most powerful series. We've begun it at this point, and do a quick little intro, but if you haven't written your questions, do so now in chat. Love to see your questions there so that we can answer them. So this is the first time we've ever done this, even though the book did come out officially. If you Google it, it did come out if originally published December 21st, 2020. And we all know, if you guys have been watching me and watching our content, you know that how important that date is and how the bifurcation, trifurcation began then. Okay. All right, beautiful. So you guys can hear me, see me good, it looks like. Okay. All right. So add your questions there. Making sure I have everything here. Okay. So let's talk about what this, so this will be like a 40-minute video we're looking at, even though sometimes, we always go over, but yes. All right. And we're going to remote view the matrix, you all. Get ready. Ooh, you don't want to miss that one. Okay, in about 50 minutes. All right, cool. Okay, so let's get started. So how did this book come about? Well, you all have watched, most likely. If not, I suggest you go watch it, interviewing A.U.R.A. And you heard my journey and how I got here, how I was able to come into this moment in time and space and begin my spiritually awakened journey so that I could be here with you all. So in case you haven't watched that, I suggest you definitely go and watch that. because it'd be really important for you to understand what we're all about to start speaking about. Okay. All right. So, wow, what a journey. You always wonder, like, what was the journey for an author, right? To do something such a, it feels like such a big accomplishment. I remember when I was a little girl, there's two things when, at school they ask you, what do you want to be? And two things that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a vet, because I really loved animals, animals are everything to me. And then I wanted to be an author. And I remember thinking, like, I wonder why I said that. Why did I say that? We're just channeling what our future selves, what we're about to come into. So that for me was very pivotal and huge to finally release our book one. So this is a book series, and I have actually the next book four, all the way to book four, content, and it just takes a lot of time to prepare, because it's a lot of so the work of transcription, and then also with book two, which is phenomenal. As you've been watching our channelings, I really got to channel this time around. We really condensed the client sessions, and I'm putting the pieces together, and it is huge. It is the next, what we've been waiting for, to what is this AI and what is this archon thing. That's one of the major topics, but it's also about goodness, the journey, the history. So that's her book two. There's no telling. I know people ask, I can't say when it's going to come out. I just can tell you that I'm working really hard at it every day. Just really, really, yeah, fiercely working hard at it every day. Okay. Now, so that journey, wow. So yes, when I started waking up, I started doing aura sessions. I began with QSHT, but that didn't quite work out for my soul signature, because people started to, when they came to me, they were having blockages, especially like all of a sudden they'd be laying there, and then they would have some kind of like spirit possession. And what happens is that when you're in source love light, and that's what I would hold, I would source love light. It's similar, like when you channel, like say you're a Reiki healer, and then you're Reiki healing, and that's what you're channeling, like the universal source love light. So when you're in this embodiment, what happens is that if a person is in a theta brainwave, what will happen is that some of the inversions, entities, traumas that are within them, that are holding them stuck, and that's not letting them, enlighten or ascend or lift in vibration, what will happen is that these things will come up. So then that's why we were literally I was seeing people have a reptilian, an entity, start speaking, but it was also always within safety, and the angels were always there, the higher self were always telling me, and they're literally who taught me aura hypnosis, because I had a choice. I had people who were coming to me, who others that, whether they were other hypnosis practitioners or other healers, or their family, their loved ones didn't believe them. The system put them in psych wards and drugged them up. So I had a choice. Am I going to be like these people who are not believing in these people who their reality is very much real? And, I too, as well, had entity situations, and boy, we could be here for hours talking about those, and my journey, how I got here, and how I understood, say, the paranormal, understood that we are all spirits, we're all entities, but this is our physical illusional body. So and it really, by the time I understood that I love everyone in infinite ways. So whoever's in front of me, if they are ready to self-heal, to begin their self-healing journey, my role is to hold the love light for them to achieve that level. So that was the choice I had. Am I going to fall with the system of the spirit, maybe the spiritual community that tells them they don't have reptilians attached, or they don't have different things attached to them, or am I, or the physical, where they're telling them they're crazy and they need help, which I have to say, I'm not a licensed doctor or physician, okay? So my choice was, of course, no. I believe and love all perspectives, and this vibration that kept me going in this highest love light is what then allowed for me to basically assist my clients to connect in levels that they had never been able to connect to. So the content that you are here to read, so here through audiobook if you buy it on my website, or if you read it through ebook or paperback, it is vast, it's infinite, it is so deep that it heals you. I've had people who heal from all sorts of conditions and illnesses from themselves just by reading, just by listening to a video, because we have these videos here on YouTube, over 130 of them, where you could get to watch their experience. So that's what I was doing. I was being the interviewer. I was taking down, I was asking the questions, I was hearing their stories, I was logging that for them, so that their story could be heard, their journey could be heard. And then with every single session that I did, I felt a shift in me, because that is the biggest growth that you can have. Imagine meeting a Pleiadian being one day, and then the next day you meet an angelic being, and the next day you meet a source being that came straight from source, or a starseed from the 12th dimension. Imagine that. And think about all the beautiful energy that you are assisting and holding space for them in love light. And think about what gifts you're getting in return for being this unconditional, loving person for these beings that are in front of you, that need assistance, that are working so hard, to have worked all their lives to work in ascending consciousness. And yeah, so you receive light codes, you receive healings, you receive messages. Yes, actually I just had a session yesterday, and this beautiful divine masculine who, oh my god, he was trapped in a psych ward for 4 years. Guys, what a journey, you guys. And at the end, it doesn't happen too often, but Archangel Michael gives me a little message, just like a cute couple little words, and it's just like, wow, thank you. So yes, it feels like when you're listening to their journeys, because all higher selves are connected to one another, it feels like they're talking to you as well. So imagine the light codes, the downloads, the integrations, the raising of vibration that you receive every day just by doing one of these sacred aura hypnosis sessions and raw Reiki sessions. So yeah, that's my journey. So thank you to all those beautiful, I'm about to hit 500 sessions. I know in the session, where I wrote the book, I think I was only like at 300. So we're almost at 500 now that I specifically did. But we do also have aura practitioners that we are certified internationally. And you can find those under aurapractitioners.com. And then there are also raw Reiki practitioners and the Akashic readings that we offer. Wow, so what a journey. So I'm so excited with you guys. Thank you for allowing that intro so you could understand how we got there. And yes, it is excitement. It is exciting, you all, to be on like our end and to listen to people's journey and like, wow, discover like a new planet, a new universe, a new alien race. It's just like, it's so fulfilling and so expanding in ways that I can't explain through words, but I can only express through vibration and love. So yeah. All right, beautiful. So let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and start taking the questions. Okay. So I see we have some already here. Again, add them there. We're going to go through them as quick as possible. Oh, okay. So someone says, I'm curious to know about your walk-in experience. Can you tell us what that was like? Yeah, so the final chapter. So in case you haven't read the book, again, spoilers, like spoiler alert, because we don't want to ruin anything. There's some gigantic things that happen that prepare you every step way. Every chapter that you read it's gradually, it's like a stepping. It's like Yeshua always reminds me that he is like a spiral staircase, and you're stepping and you're stepping. So wow. And as you're stepping, reading the book, you get to the grand finale and you're like, wow. So one of the things that I share is that I am a walk-in. What that means is, we've explained this in some prior videos, and I'll say it briefly. So in order for us to come here, we need to, if we are looking to come in at a higher, say, starseed level or higher dimensional being, we need to come into one of the vessels. There is a limited amount of vessels in the matrix, and we'll talk more about that in the next video. So there's a limited amount of vessels. So that's why you would hear, like, say, Dolores talk about that in her in her videos, how everybody was so important, because every body is important, the physical body, because we all come into these bodies that are already here in this blueprint of Earth. And so every single one of you who is a starseed, who is an angelic being, who is a higher dimensional being, especially if maybe you didn't really have lives here on Earth and you're coming from the higher dimensions, maybe even from straight from source. In order for you to come in, you have to actually come into a body that's already here, because you weren't, say, maybe you weren't here perhaps from original blueprints. But the way that I can explain is that, so then you have to come into, and if you are coming from a higher perspective of higher dimensional energies, then what you typically will do is come into a essence of you. So say you were in the 11th dimension, right? Say you're an angelic being in the 11th dimension, but angelic beings are multidimensional. They go infinite to all dimensions. So, but say you are an Elohim in the 11th dimension, and then you are deciding to come in. Well, this Elohim being has infinite fractals, perhaps, throughout creation, right? But maybe on Earth, maybe they have, I don't know, 100. So out of these 100 fractals that they have incarnated here on Earth, this angelic being coming from the 11th dimension, so this being here on Earth in the 3rd dimension right now, is a fractal of this 11 dimensional but multi-dimensional angelic being. So what happens is that this fractal here has been stuck, most likely in the inverted matrix, which we'll be talking about next, and it needs assistance. So what we're doing here in the 11th dimension as this angelic oversoul or higher self being, oversoul's more like higher in the, where it's 0 and infinite dimensions. That's where the oversoul is at. Higher selves are in higher dimensions. There's not a specific dimension because they travel through the different dimensions of creation. Okay. And as so then what happens is that this soul is done. It's done what it needed to do, perhaps, or maybe it's stuck, so it needs assistance. So as it's born, it gradually shifts, and we talked about this in the past. We're going to stick with new information. As it gradually shifts and it raises in vibration, it reaches a peak point where this now higher self over here can now create a bigger piece, a wholer piece of their angelic energies that still is this fractal, but this essence of angelic being is going to carry more light codes. It's similar like the star seeds, the babies that are coming in, like that. Okay, so it's actually just like that. So this essence soul that comes in from this angelic being will prepare it'll cultivate even for a while inside of Earth, sometimes even hundreds of years. These things are not just they don't happen like sporadically in the higher dimensions. They actually happen very divinely planned and without overstepping boundaries. So then this essence cultivates inside Earth, and we talked about that through different videos that we talked about. Which one? The Lionsgate, and the pyramids and the double-sided diamonds that are inside of Earth. So you can watch that video for that. And then when it's time, it's a portal that they come out and they birth out, and Mother's heart is there with them inside of Earth, and then they come out and then they merge into the body. So they can merge into it. That can just be considered a walk. And if they can merge right into a baby body, that maybe that fractal has an agreement with a benevolent agreement with the higher dimensional of them. This is a long explanation. Okay, and then so there's many different perspectives. I'm just giving you like some main major ones. And then basically it's a soul agreement. So they come in, the higher aspect that the higher self has created here of this angelic being comes in, integrates, and at that point it becomes a walk-in, if you want to see it that way. But it is, because what it does is sometimes that soul that was here before, they come in, but it's still them, right? Because this is a smaller fractal of them, and then this is a bigger fractal of them. Now in some cases though, it's a whole different soul that comes in benevolently that is in agreement too. The journeys that I've heard, they're quite infinite of how this works out. But for the majority is your wholer being of you is going to come in, integrate, and that's how my walking is. So I went by Aura, and then she would be like, Aurora is my higher self, and then she was very connected, worked really hard. And then, yeah, I came in. She knew the minute I was coming in and flying in with the beautiful celestial prime dragons of purity that protected my soul. They came in and they brought my soul in. They are the storks, and they, put me in. And then she knew, she was aware of it. And we integrated, and her perspective, her fractal was done. She had done what she needed to do. She just needed to go ascend out and go hang out in the new earth. So her essence is hanging out in the new earth, really beautifully, very happy. But when, per my example, my walking came in, I integrated her memories and so on. Yeah. So that's typically how a major walk-in will work, and that's my explanation to my walk-in. So, but again, there's many different perspectives, and there is also negative polarized, and I wouldn't call it a walk-in because that's not a walk-in, where they compromise the soul. They can't completely replace the soul, but what they will do is that they will black magic soul bind the soul. And then the negative polarized entity, when the soul is in the lowest dimension, when negative polarized entity comes in, thinking maybe I should have made a whole video about walk-ins. So yes, and they come in and they encase that soul into a black magic, kind of like a cage, black magic cage or cube, that's inverted, and they contain it, and then the soul is still in the body, but that's the original soul is still somewhere there, but it's locked away, like they sold their soul away, similar. So that is a negative polarized. So we were talking about the benevolence point of view. All right, let's continue. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think we're good. We explained that really, really good. Okay, so how do you come to your actual name? I feel like having or finding a spiritual name can help step into the new story of our journey. Do you have any advice on that? The way I came into my name is that angels started calling me it. I started listening. Even like when I was actually a big portion of my first sessions of all those clients, they helped me remember who I was. All those past life regressions that I did on people, because of all those downloads and benevolent integrations, that's how I started remembering. And then, but mostly I would hear the angels call me Aurora, Aurora. So listen into the wind, listen into the birds who are messengers from source. This, maybe lay your ear to the earth and have Mother Earth tell her to give you your name. Put your ear to her heart and to her soil, and trust yourself and don't doubt. See, they often give you the name and you're like, nah. They'll be like, yes, you're Archangel. Divine Mother Sophia. And you're like, no way. Or they'll be like, oh, you're Archangel Michael. And you're like, oh, what? So yeah, often they give you your names, and your names may also be just consisting of different syllables, or your name, it might not even be audible in human language. So just listen in, and your name could also be just like a symbol, like an alchemy symbol, like a light code. That could be your name. And perhaps the sound is not expressible by the human vocal cords. So yes, listen to creation. If you want your name, they will give it to you. So listen, and then let go of any doubt and worry upon yourself, or self-doubt. Definitely not mistrusting yourself and what you're getting is a huge blockage that we self-impose upon ourselves. Okay, letting go of that programming there. All right, beautiful. Okay. Okay, someone's asking, can you describe how it feels and what it's like to go through so much change and growth from your beginnings of awakening to now? Whew, wow. Yeah, so if you look back at my videos from 6 years ago, you look at them and you're like, that's Aurora? What? It looks like such a younger version of me, but physically, I think I still look pretty young. Because I'm always keeping crystalline and sunbathing and keeping my skin very young with the sunbathing. So wow. Yeah. So even if you look at like last week's video to this video, you will notice that I look different. And that's because we go through such a vast expansion. If we allow it and we're matching vibration to these divine expansions that are waiting for us to integrate with, but we have to be that matching vibration. If we're stuck in doubt within ourselves, stuck in worry, stuck in trauma, then we can't reach these higher dimensional vibrations than to receive the higher dimensional coding, right? So it begins with that, and that's what one of the things that we're all about is that, right? Is how to help you lift out from that. Okay. So yes, so remembering though that every minute and even every hour they explain here, 1 hour is really beyond the quantum realm, could be seen through quantum physics as at least 3 years, 1 hour here of Earth. So if you honor the whole hour that you have here on Earth and you really treated it in most divine light and you worked even down to that 1 hour gigantically within yourself, you really are just a different person from 1 hour to another, because I mean, it technically has been years. So really treating everything sacredly in that way. We talked about this before. Okay. Yeah. So how does it feel? How does that feel? Wow. It feels so what words can I use? As a divine feminine, for me, it feels very empowering. It feels fierce. It feels sovereign. It feels sexy. It feels like I am, the goddess energy, as we are goddesses and gods of source essences. And it feels reassuring because when you step into this vibration that you're all knowing, because you can find your inner knowledge, what it does, it just allows for you to flow in every which way. And then when you think that you're at a halt and you don't know which way to go, left or right in your path, then you just silence and you ask the question. And then you realize the minute you ask the question, you receive the answer. But are you trusting your answer, or are you creating chaos around the answer that has been given to you? And often we create chaos, right? So it's about inner trust, inner love, inner understanding, and inner the inner fire. It's like you're this eternal flame, and igniting it and being that source light that you are, that source flame. So it feels magical is the words I can say. It feels truly divinely magical, and that's why I know I've been on some of the on your end, because I began there too, right? And I know what it feels like to be in the lowest you could ever think of. You all, I've been through inverted timelines just like you guys, and I remember this one time in my awakening when I actually right around the time where my walk-in came in, and I remember this the fractal that I was before me, and how low she was and how beat up she was by the world. And I remember that feeling and hearing she was very connected. So she would hear voices, voices that are negative, that are telling you to you're not worthy, telling you that all these different negative things that push you and push you because they want you to not be here anymore. And I remember being in that like type of PTSD, stuck in it, and repeated inversions. And it was painful. And then I was working through already, like removing inverted timelines, and they were hard. They were hard because you have to remember them to delete them for the majority. And then it was rough. And that is in the moment in time and space I told myself 6 years ago that no matter what, whoever came to me, if they allowed it, that I will hold that space and love light for them and to help them come out of that sinking hole that you feel like you're in. And then also I had this implant in one of my toes. This implant was creating the PTSD and was actually feeding like false visions to me, and it was creating, like trying to create inverted timelines through me, and it kept me there. And I would try to raise up and raise my phoenix fire, and I couldn't lift up. I was in this constant pain and pain and pain. So then that's also one of the reasons why I came in as AuroRa to that A.U.R.A fractal, because she had already done a lot of work. She had also gone through, and she had already overcome some of these inverted cycles herself. So it was time for someone else to come in that was a fuller essence of higher self. So in that moment in time, when I told myself that no matter what, I would do everything that I could do for everyone who came to me, so long as, of course, they're benevolent and they really want help. As you know, sometimes you do come across people who are just messing with you or so on, but those people who are ready, and that's what I do every day. What a joy, because I know what it's like. I know. I love you. Okay, so how or what led you to start in this journey of hypnosis? So Dolores led me. You can listen to the journey of interviewing AuroRa, because I talk about Dolores there, and how my journey there, and how I found her, and as many of you here have found her. And it was quite phenomenal the way I found her. I had found her content a month before, and then one day I decided to do a session on my husband, my beautiful Zen. And when I put him in, guess who speaks? Ra. And they're like, someone near and dear wants to talk to you. And they said it's Dolores. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, why? I'm like falling off my chair, I'm like, I'm about to throw up when this is happening. and that's how I began. It was Dolores. She did it. And then, along the way, she further explained how we were together in Atlantis when the fall happened, and we together, we through the sessions, and my husband's sentimentalistic, so it's quite phenomenal to watch him go in, because he doesn't remember anything, and they just deliver these most beautiful divine messages back then when I needed them. And then, yes, that was a huge part of me being here too. So your loved ones are around you. So in case you want to go into the theta brainwave and start discovering more of them and who you are, it's just infinite. This, because it starts recalling your memory, their memory, and at that point you all become invincible. You become unstoppable. Even if the inverted matrix tries to mess with you, you find the way out. You find the way through it. It's just beautiful. So again, we highly recommend the A.U.R.A hypnosis and raw Reiki, because that teaches you to do that. Okay. Yes. So yes, beautiful sessions with my husband is what brought me on here to this moment in time, and specifically Ra and Dolores Cannon, which I didn't know who was Ra, period. Back then I thought it was like a sun god. Technically it's the sun, but yes. And yes, from there, though, the big thing was that they didn't really share too much even then. Like when they communicated to me through his session, they didn't really share too much as far as like details, because it's also really important that they only give you the breadcrumbs to ensure that the timelines, the organic timelines, do come into fruition. Because sometimes if they give you too much, you yourself infringe upon your own timelines, or you like overthink them and you mess with them. And then instead of you creating the timeline, you're creating, oh my God, what if I don't do it? Or oh my God, what if it goes this way? What, you're creating all these like, different paths. So that's why they only give you the little breadcrumbs right at the minute. So with that, it was, I do have to give credit to myself, because I mean, I could have gone another way. I could have chosen not to listen to Dolores or Ra. I could have chosen not to believe my client that was in front of me that was saying that they had like a reptilian um male attached to them. I could have chosen that, like many have chosen that, to be an ego, to judge, to be stuck in a box, but I didn't choose that. So yeah, it was my heart. I allowed my heart to lead me, and like I do in every which way, and everything that you will listen to, it is heart centered, it is heart based, it is birth from heart, it is birth from the divine mother energies that I carry inside of me. It is birth from this, and yeah, highest love light of source and mother. All right, beautiful. Next one is, are a majority of the regression sessions just regular, for lack of a better term, human lives, or are the majority of sessions like the ones in the book? So I would say about 40 to 30% are just, yeah, regular sessions. People just really just need healings, body scans. Maybe they don't sometimes see a past life or a future life. Yeah, that happens too. So we only really share the ones that are important for the collective, but the ones that are more like just for themselves and their self-healing, we don't share those because it's not meant to be shared. It's their journey. Yes. So yep, there's both. And then for the first session, what do you recommend? I want to know. Everything. Much love. Oh, that's a lot. What do you mean first session? Oh, like you're gonna have an aura? Okay, so really listen to those 13 ways to prepare for an aura, because they prepare you to communicate to your higher self and to not allow yourself to block your own self. So listen into those, and really, really understand that it is important that you understand that you are very conscious sometimes, or unconscious, but you are consciously always connected to your higher self. So then what happens is that when you're in the session and it feels like it's you talking, it is you talking, just because they have to use your physical vessel, but source and higher self are inside you, inside that flame. So it will feel like it's you talking, but it's them, source and higher self, and your team giving you the answers through you, because they have to use your physical body. So there's a lot of programming and dogma created on hypnosis. I'm honestly, every time I'm making videos, I'm already channeling. I'm in the theta already. When I'm done with this video, I tend to forget, because that means I'm in hypnosis. I'm in the theta. Because when you guys are listening to me, it's my higher self. I'm just letting my higher self speak. That's who it is. I'm just letting AuroRa speak. And so then when I'm done, it becomes like a dream. These readings, these sessions, they become like a dream, and then I begin to forget. Yeah. So then I have to re-listen to the sessions, so I can remember them. Every single video I do, this happens. So when I'm here in camera for you guys, I just channel and I go in my heart, and I'm letting my heart speak, and I'm letting my higher self speak from me. And then that's what I suggest for you to do. Just let your heart speak, and stop thinking that you're separate from your higher self. You're not separate. So you are source, love, light. The flame of higher self and source is inside your heart. So how could you be separate from it, from this eternal flame? You are this flame, and you could never be separate from what gives you life force and light. So releasing any programming dogma, I could just take a deep breath, and I'm in, but I'm already in. So walking in the in-between, in the theta, that's what we teach. You're in between the spirit realm and the physical. You're multidimensionally interdimensionally, even multiverse, traveling all day long. Okay. All right, next question. I'm gonna take 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna take a break to start the next video. What if I feel it's hard for me to be under regression mentally. So you have to also understand that if you're creating that for yourself, then it will be hard. So you really have to deprogram a lot of your belief systems on that. Remember, see the brain neurologically is in and out of different brain waves all day long. Right now, when you're watching, say, TV, you are in a hypnosis state. When you're driving, you reach your destination 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, I'm here. I don't remember how I got here, but I'm here. You know, because you're on automatic. When you are showering, when you're meditating, when you're laying in the grass, when you're just sunbathing, you're already in the theta. There's more deeper theta levels, and then there's just lighter theta, but our brain neurologically comes in and out of these brainwaves all day long. They know this, you know, the dark forces that try to run the world know this, and that's why they use the fact that our neurologically, our third eye, our consciousness is in and out of this, and that's why they try to program it with all these different things, because they know that. So then it's time for you to release that. You can't do that. That's a lie. Everyone can do this. Yes, there might be some blockages, like you've seen through aura regression or passive regression, how you know, which is entity removal, how sometimes someone feels blocked, and then it's maybe they have archon attachment in their DNA, maybe they have something blocking them in their crown, maybe they have a dark portal in their heart. So but with aura hypnosis will help you push through that so that you can find what's blocking you. And when you find what's blocking, and that's key if you feel that you're going to be blocked, because once you push through and trust yourself and your higher self, then you find what's blocking you, and you instantly notice it during session. Every single thing that we find in you, that your higher self finds, that is causing an inversion within you, that's blocking you, connects you further, further, further. And by the time you're done with the session, you are really just channeling at that point in hypnosis your higher self. Okay. All right. Someone wants to know, how do I step more into my power as a light worker? I am being called to do something with my time and energy, but I don't know how, and I'm afraid to get started. That would be a personal question, but it begins with all that we teach. Being you. So number one thing is standing very strong sovereignly in who you are, listening to your inner voice and your inner guidance. That's where it begins, and then from there it just flows like a river. It flows like an infinite river that never stays still, and that's how you should be. You should be like ever moving motion that is infinite. All right. Aura, what were some of the most activating revelations chapter stories for you from the book? Oh my gosh, wow, they were also pivotal. But I remember, okay, here, I could look through the list just to make sure. I'll take you through a quick guide of that. We could always start the next video later, but because I like to talk a lot. So let's see. When I'm with you guys, we'd love to share as much as we can. Okay, so the first chapter was pivotal because when they're trying to attach that reptilian piece, because we had been finding reptilian consciousnesses into people, the very first couple 10, 20, they're already there. And I was like, how are they doing this? So then chapter 1 was huge because we got to see the reptilian and how they were together like in black magic, and they were putting this black spiky thing inside the children that they had locked away in this underground cave of some kind. So that was huge. And the next one that was huge for me was chapter 3, the teachings of Yeshua. The reason why that one was so vast for me was because I was in a moment in time that, because I'm in the profession of hypnosis, passive regression, a lot of the people, the majority actually of hypnosis practitioners, I'll be honest with you guys, don't understand what we're doing, don't understand. They're the ones telling, you know, I've had people who come to me and they tell me, I went to a hypnosis practitioner, they told me I need to go get prescribed. You know, I went to this practitioner and so on. I could go on for days talking about the stories I've heard of how they've been treated by others. So I was being treated like that too. They were telling me, no, the stories, the journeys that my clients that are coming to me for help are not real, or yeah, we don't believe in that kind of stuff. No, we're gonna stick with this here, and I'm gonna stay in this little box over here. And I was being, and then I was also very sensitive back then. When I had this session with Yeshua, I think I was yeah, yeah, I was super sensitive. At this point, my shields have just profoundly grown. It's like, don't even try it. That's why I always stayed. Don't even try it. Keep your hate and your trolling to yourself, because you're gonna have to transmute it, because you are. Because I have shields that are, if you mean ill intent to harm, it will be yours to transmute, not mine. I don't have time for those inverted games. I have to assist the collective. So no, thank you. So back then I wasn't that strong though to say what I just said. And I felt a little beat up. I was having psychic energetic attacks from the same people that you might be listening to now on YouTube or wherever. People were getting up on me saying that because I was telling people to use their source of light to surround themselves with love light. I had people saying that I was fear-based because I was telling people to shield with their source of light, which, as we know, that is absolutely ridiculous. Why not use your source of light, right? So all these things. So Yeshua was huge. He knew he needed to come to me through this client that was a somnambulistic. She woke up, she didn't remember any of it. And he knew that he needed to encourage me because he said that it was my turn. And even though, this goes for the collective, right? Because it's all our turns. We're all Yeshua's now. But in that moment in time, he was like, I remember him talking to me even after the session and saying, it makes me emotional. He's saying, it was me then, now it's you, A.U.R.A. And I needed that session to push me through. So huge. So let me see what other ones. Let's see. God, they're all so important. But I definitely will point out a couple more. Leviathan, that's like everyone's favorite. The Leviathan, it's so important. The fallen angel, how someone could fall so deep like he did, and then he could get his angel wings back. And yes, he has to go through some trauma for the things that he allowed for him to be swayed by the in inorganic darkness. But yeah, how he's able to redeem himself with every act and every love. And the crystals that talk through him, the dragons, and it was just such a powerful session. And you all guys, like, he was like over 6 feet. He was like 6 feet tall. He's a huge guy. He, like, literally, he's like, I just came out of jail. And it's like, I know anyone else would have been like, oh God, get out. He's like, no. And I even saw him in person and I helped him out. Now, of course, I wouldn't put myself in the situation unless he did make kindness, which he did. Yeah. So, wow. And God, hearing his journey and all the physical and sexual abuse that he had to go through from his own family was absolutely disgusting and horrific. And then here we have this beautiful Leviathan fallen angel session. Oh my gosh. And then, oh, huge, the chapter 16 through 19, the compromised reptilian and what they had to go through they got conned into exploring the world and come explore the world, but you have to kill off your parents and to pass the test, and this being killed off their parents, and it was from another, I think, another universe or another realm, so another dimension altogether, but it was affecting this being here in the now. It was still them in some form. So she told us on the journey where we can grow in compassion and love for these entities instead of, like trying to exercise them and bash them to hell. And, like, no, I learned that from the beginning. I was like, no, I love you. Even if you're like so dark and you're so lost, I love you. And I'm going to love you no matter what. Even if you don't choose to positive polarize, I'm still going to love you. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. I guess I'm going through the journey here. Excuse my tears. Okay. Yes, and then the MyLab experiments, and even the black magic market where they were, exchanging people with black diamonds. And I remember that one. There was that next morning there was cabal parked right in front of my house, and I called the cops on them, and then they had to run away and pretend that they weren't there. But yeah, they try to scare you. um, and I remember thinking like, oh my god, am I going to share these things on YouTube? Wow. So I have to also be careful what I'm saying here, right? Um, yeah, huge, huge. My lab experiments. Oh, how her family was in the CIA. She herself had a black diamond ring that was part of the family that had been handed down to her. And then she realized after she watched that session, she told me, she's like, oh my God, I have a black diamond and we have black diamonds in our family. I can't, I have to get rid of this thing. And how she remembered, and she was somnambulistic too, she remembered her family, her higher self showed her how she was part of those rings. And the minute that I'm actually sharing her quotes right now on all my social media, so make sure you go to Instagram, go to Facebook, Telegram. I'm sharing her quotes right now in this moment in time, the My Life experience. Yeah, and the minute that she's born, they take her and put her they put her in a military hospital, and they start putting an implant in her and start testing on her like she's someone's experiment. My gosh, you all, like, what? So these are the people that have come to me, and it's like, I don't we have to keep pushing through. We have to keep pushing through no matter what for them. So then from there, I would go through, and the huge ones were the archon information, like the looking glass technology, the knot of light. We figured out, oh, that's what the archons are. They removed, and then that's my channeled information on knot of light. They removed their organic light from them. And I actually had a recent session that will be in future book literature, where we went from the beginning of this AI thing that began from the beginning of creation. And she was creating the Garden of Eve, and they were, oh my God, it was so beautiful. And she was Aphrodite, and wow. And even then she was fighting this AI thing that was starting to grow, trying to grow. So yeah, crazy stuff, y'all. And but amazing. And then yes, we have to do the next video, so we're gonna finish up. And then the huge one was the Elven Twin Flames. Wow. I did a session, and so did the other another practitioner did the session. And then there's one version, there were two elvens, and then they put the journey together. That was one of my favorites, because they both have been A.U.R.A certified. They came in person and got A.U.R.A certified, and they're practicing. So what we learned is that the them and the now know how to help people remove AI, the V, all these different things, know how to remove archons, know how to, so the them and the now learn this in this now time and space, because it is time to know it as A.U.R.A practitioners. And then that's why they were journeying to assist the one brother that turned dark, that was basically UFO abducted. And then they put an implant that replaced his conscious, or contained his consciousness. Wow. So yeah, what a journey, you all. What a journey. Maybe we'll have to do another one of these videos, because we're about to so we'll save these questions for future videos, and we'll touch base upon them. I hope that you really enjoyed this beautiful time with me, asking the author about the beautiful creation of our book, the Universe's book. And many people call it the Holy Bible, the real Holy Bible. And actually what the angels came to me in a dream, and they told me that it was the Holy Grail. And that's what they showed me. The minute I started putting all these sessions that these clients gave to me, they said it was the Holy Grail, and that it was going to literally evolve creation. And we've seen it. We know the date it was publicated, which I had no idea then that was going to happen. So thank you, everyone. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Yes, I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to talk about the bifurcation on this date that this book was published. And but it talks about the 2/3 world split, and how we're bifurcating in the inverted world and what that inverted world looks like. We always talk about how to recognize the inverted world and to go into the organic, but now we're going to learn what does the inverted world look like. So get ready. It's going to be intense, guys. There's nothing that I don't do that is divinely intense. It is phenomenal. Mwah. I love you guys. Hope to see you at a retreat or a workshop. Come sign out. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.